The story starts there. An exceptionally enormous specialist Chalhan came to the muscle with him. The gloves are as of now here where these individuals came, and they are specialists. They are making a great deal of synthetic substances, so for them to get it and killing is vital. They are behind it for quite a long time, and today they get an opportunity here. Today their number 3 likewise happens to tons, whose name is Where, yet they go on mission. Here they get the channel. On the off chance that you need to head inside, that large number of individuals can, however here, there are homes inside the water. And are associated with the wire. When those individuals go somewhat further, they comprehend that individuals of the story realize that those individuals are coming and the assault begins on them, to such an extent that it only gets far from its end, and now here accidentally somebody still falls on that wire and and before this bomb attack, the other armed force around there and help them. However, when those individuals are out really at that time there is a bomb impact and everybody would bite the dust. In this, 19 individuals are killed, and the way that he was the skipper of the locales likewise gives him a major blow. And now here the police examines him, precisely what occurred around there. They likewise say that no news book doesn't feel, since everybody felt that perhaps he was sick, in the event that he didn't focus on him. Then, at that point, he got his leg. Harvey says in On the Wire that this work was finished by the student, yet nobody trusts after that. And now he is here with Pooja in a bar that really at that time of columnist comes to meet him there, whose name is Katie, composes on the subjects occurring here on various armed force officials, and here from Holy comes to top, and drives Parvas away from him. And doesn't converse with him, however at this point the food would have gone from here, because of the return to your city, the dead is several days from the relative multitude of individuals here, but the legal information As a matter of fact, the blow is large to such an extent that it even damages his head. And now here he will most likely have some issue in his adoration. He was unable to recollect everything accurately, assuming he asks a similar story from the workplace here. He rehashes exactly the same thing, and those individuals show him his recording here. It's reporting to Disdain. Were harmed. And now here he will likely have some issue in his affection. He was unable to recall everything accurately, assuming that he asks a similar story from the workplace here. He rehashes exactly the same thing, and those individuals show him his reporting here. It's reporting to Disdain. Were harmed. Where he comes to realize that giving cash to Google 2 days before Tony's movement card doesn't accept on the grounds that 1 day prior he took out with him, and everybody expresses that the glove is 2 days prior. The glove is done must have ended it all, and the name of the official taking care of a similar side case is issued like an incident official. Presently, there appears to be that same enormous invention has happened against him. And the reporting of the previously victim such an excellent innovation that stuck his sign, changed the recording, killed Borger, yet presently, here he addresses his senior. I enjoy a leisure activity to hear that you have acknowledged 9 on and shot 45 of the police's administrations, so I won't ever off myself with another big projectile. And he talks this just to his kin, and can tell to the sisters that it is conceivable that he utilized the firearm of 9mm, since he used to go to the city close to his group's normal band, which implies individual member. For what reason did he ring like this to say goodbye? It is accepted from that point forward, and presently, here he gets back home and makes an impression on the little girl that the day she came to the bar to meet him, who's sitting close to him, will probably know on the grounds that she, at the end of the day, is my better half. Furthermore, presently after this, maximally in the entirety of my group goes to research, where he gets Lady Secretary there. It is an exceptionally large official, since there are various kinds of bills that will pass for various sorts of armed force officials, and the better strategy goes here. Someone says that they often once more, and they plainly decline to use it on a decent post. If there is cultivating to meet his relatives, and presently, subsequent to taking so a lot, everybody knows and says, then, at that point, leave from that point, and after that he sends 1010 minutes, and presently, he begins questioning himself. That perhaps I am actually a mother, for there is some injury at the station, because of which there has been more issue where just the train will be there when it is in the XB machine. Simultaneously 2 individuals come there and call singles, where his sibling and uncle have come to meet him, which makes him extremely close. The bar is saying that whether I have recently kept the insight about the issue. However, here it happens to the Guardian that whether I am not covered exclusively by non-implies that he is purposely befuddling Russia with deception. So that regardless of whether he talks 11, then every one of them have dealt with certain things. However, on the off chance that you end up being here along these lines, he thinks that he should begin gathering proof from the gig, even after that he additionally takes a position, and from that, discussing the person who takes him inside the emergency clinic, since there is no cost, and he expresses that there is certainly not a solitary such a thing here, which can be miserable, that there were 2 individuals here who have been dead since the specialist was killed. At home feeds his girl, and significant other, who is killed similarly as BBC. Everything is totally unpunished, and that's what he feels like matches, that everything truly occurred. What is actually irrelevant information, converse with him here, where he said that on the off chance that he had been recognized, the gatherer in the clinical report and sees regardless of whether his psyche is fine, on the off chance that he won't have any issue, then just to be off base. However, presently, here it says will seldom finish paperwork for clinical report, since it needs % to make the site from it, then they will sign it on the report, and after that first cleans here, then gives it to the document. And now here it is close to dark tone from them. In the wake of keeping the telephone, nobody will actually want to follow the telephone. They go to the exceptional record identification, so they can visit from that point. And presently, the occupation of getting 4 of them pursue them. Each opportunity she comes to school, she needs to make a wine for her in the fellowship, and she will compose the name of each and every individual, individually dependent, so that if she has any desire to kill her, then so. Also, here she composes the principal name of George. What can you do that with these photographs? Knowing about him, you can perceive that he works in him. First here he has a credit his speech, and later release them, afterwards as a result of this he tells that at some point back he needed single print for the 2 methods just biometer was printed same. And he did this 2 days prior, and presently, you can't utter a word even before the engine is turning over here. He probably requested that he open the storage with the smell of unique finger impression, so you are there now. So even subsequent to being considerably more certain, it isn't in a similar name, where there are 2 urban communities. In the wake of going there, we see a level in his name and snap the photograph of his storage. Most certainly, such individuals do, and afterward a state sister isn't there, then goes inside his level. Go inside then, hack his PC, and do information addition, and out from that point now park, barely then second, to meet him after that lady. I feel a great deal more thoughtful to this. And now when he is staying here, he doesn't see that his word has been killed, following him to another group and killed him. Presently, this governmental issues goes to Burgess home control, asks him since it works for him, works for itself. It's off base time, however, presently, the goal here is to some cash attempts to go after George and still, at the end of the day he kills him. Then he shows this entire occurrence as a self-destruction and leaves the crime location. He has a ton of involvement of this kind of wrongdoing. We said Reece can show any engine. After that in a scene we see the failure who needs to converse with this whole group here where the officials of a berry, and presently to make these things happen he wants to bring another financial plan where he will resign his shoulders early, so he can have a decent life later, and he won't need to fly off the handle injury. In any case, there are not many residuals of its help in light of the fact that by doing this, every one of the old arrangements have finished with various organizations will transform into the liquid world, so hardly says here that on the off chance that they keep their financial plan low, it will likely benefit. Will occur. Big man